MPC. I was the MPC man. You couldn't touch me at one point. That's all I used to mess with was MPC 2000 XL was my first MPC. That's what I thought in my mind, you know. MPC, my first one I had, used to have the big floppy disk joints. I had it maxed out. I had like 350 RAM, the hard disk that's used to put it in. Shout out to Atlanta Pro Audio, you know, that helped with those extensions, so to speak. Basically, the MPC 2000 XL is what I started out with. Love the machine, love AKAI, cannot compare to the algorithm. On any other groove box beat machine, which is really a sampler sequencer, is really what it is. I love this device, I loved it, but I ended up getting rid of it. I got rid of it because I no longer had my 003 rack, Digi-Rack. Some issues happened with that. I'm not going to even get into that. I ended up losing that. So that caused me to go to routing myself to a whole nother workflow. So my MPC was the only way that I was able to talk to my computer through that. So that all I got rid of that. I got rid of the whole setup. Regretting it later, getting rid of the MPC 2000. I ended up investing in MPC Renaissance. But before I get into the Renaissance, the 2000 would communicate with the monster cable through my 8 outs of my 003 rack, Digi-Rack, and that's how it would communicate with Pro Tools. And I would be able to sync up tracks and sync up stuff that I've sampled off records and albums and bring it into Pro Tools via 8 outs. That's how that used to work. Make a long story short, I got the Renaissance. The Renaissance was for the Renaissance man. I wanted a full virtual studio. It had the whole, like 7 gig of sound. You had the wobble, you had the 808, you had all of these different VSTs that came with its own plugins for like putting it on a track. You could put like, you could stack up one pad up to like 4 different sounds. You could put 4 plugins on one pad. You know what I mean? Like it integrated the whole virtual studio into like the workflow that I use with the MPC, but now it's on software and it's hardware, but it's mainly a controller. It has this fluent run to it that it's almost like unstoppable. It's a workhorse in the beat machine, whatever you want to categorize it, world. I categorize it as a sampler sequencer, one of the major sampler. It's basically a DAW now. That's what I would categorize it as back then. So when I got into the whole sampling thing off album and vinyl, taking stuff and chopping it up, and just about doing it with anything now, the Renaissance really gave me a key, but my DAW of choice now was Ableton Live. So Renaissance and Ableton Live did not really agree integratively. You could sync them. It would take a lot to just connect the two every single time I turned on the computer. It just took a lot to get the two, you know, kind of running together, and it kind of never did. So that's what frustrated me enough to get rid of my MPC Renaissance, which was totally crazy. I love the MPC, but I had to let it go. And I just said that one day they would come out with an MPC that I'm totally interested in. And today's that day. Next month, it will be here. The colossal, the most anticipated MPC, because I clearly thought for sure that the Renaissance was gonna be just like the MPC X is now, but without the screen. The technology you had to put into those streams that they get now, fully colored multi-touch, was very expensive back then. It's pretty cheap now. Yeah, they had the technology then, but if they would have utilized the technology in one of the units, it would have been so expensive we could not have afforded. So that's why you didn't have that type of technology into those units. But now it's pretty affordable, so you're seeing a full colored multi-touch screen, which is a 10.1 inch on the new MPC X. A 10.1 inch fully colored multi-stream. That is crazy. I mean, the MPC X is the alpha and omega of the MPC legends. All the MPCs, the 300, the SPL, the 1200, the 2000, the I don't even know if that's a series. There's so many of them. All of those MPCs, the Renaissance, the Touch, all of those MPCs, just imagine squashed and combined into one unit. It's a legend maker. Literally. The MPC X is a beast unleashed. A beast. Enough said. I mean, 16 pads. RGB pads. 16. Color-coded RGB. Whatever your kick is, you color-code it. You know, it's just that simple. 16 gig of natural storage. Truly untethered, computer-free experience. You can go either way. This is very, very big for the analog digital world. The conversion. This is huge for everybody at that conversion point that can't figure. And that's where I was with the Rennie. It's gonna suck when you're all sitting stuck at the desktop with this Renaissance and you can't move, but you got all these brilliant ideas, and someone comes to your studio and brings in a portable that runs off batteries that can whoop your machine. That's pretty upsetting, but it's from the same company. Anyway, truly tethered, computer-free experience. That is amazing. Truly, now, truly. USB slots can be used via MIDI controller. So you can actually plug your MIDI controller up into the MPC Live or the MPC X. Go to your keynotes in the machine itself, on the MPC itself, and then control all your keys in groups with your keyboard. They've even went so far as you can put storage in that USB. You can even put another computer keyboard that you use, a desktop keyboard. If you don't want to type in that stuff with your fingers, you can desktop a keyboard USB into the console itself, the MPC X or the MPC Live, and type in whatever you need as you go along. The native MPC 2.0 software runs in standalone mode. Highly designed Q-links assignable with scribble strips on top for very detailed information. From standalone to high-powered controller in your DAW. From standalone to high in your DAW, I'm taking over. I can run this type of thing. That's amazing. Along with software update, audio, track recording, improved time warping, audio and MIDI drag and drop, etc. All appearing on a new graphical interface. Optional SSD, solid state, or SD card slot, USB drive like a thumb drive. You can also have that access. The most powerful music production tool to date. Onboard gear, a CV gate output. CV gate outputs enable an analog of modular synth or a classic drum machine. RCA phono still with the RIAA preamps to ensure the correct level of the incoming recording chain. This is amazing. It might as well just be an interface. You've got phantom volt, you've got built-in RIAA preamps. Oh yeah, folks, it's Bluetooth and Wi-Fi ready. I don't even want to get on that, but the new MPC X and the new MPC Live is Bluetooth and Wi-Fi ready. Imagine that. The standalone mode is the first 8 tracks is affected by the time stretch. Okay, if you're in standalone. But if you're in the control mode, then the time stretch effect, I think, goes for all the channels. So MPC X, MPC Live is definitely the way to go. The Live, the only difference is when the power supply is plugged up, an internal battery is being charged. Lithium, if I'm not mistaken, like laptop. So when you unplug it or you cut the power off, your battery is fully charged. So now you can take it and it performs depending on how much weight you put on it from anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. Could be less than that, could be more than that, give or take, depending on the weight you put on it. So if you're doing light sessions, you can be out of there. But if you got something heavy going on, you may need to take your power supply with you. I don't know. I don't know if battery, like after 50 or about 25, does the sound get weaker? Like I have no idea about that part. But yeah, definitely it's on my list. The MPC X and the MPC Live are two of the most sought after because it's standalone, meaning 8 outs in the back. You have outputs for CV gates, so I can hook up an old drum machine in the closet that can't connect to anything anymore. I can hook it up to the new MPC now. Modular synths. If you own a modular synth, God, that's expensive. But if you so happen to have one of these things, now you can run it, the real true live synth sound, alongside an MPC. That's crazy. So I'm definitely gonna get one. The price is well respected. Just as far as I'm thinking of a really pretty penny. But when I looked at the price, if you buying a centerpiece, it used to be a centerpiece for your studio. It really is a centerpiece for your studio, if you know what I mean. Like, you just need a mic, not even XLR, and you're getting really clean, nice vocals in a drum machine, as some of y'all put it, or a groove box, some of y'all put it. I don't know any groove box you can sing into and record your vocal. So for this sequence sampler here, it's one of the dopest tools, greatest production tools MPC could have came out with. I'm definitely stoked about this product. I have to have one. Have to. It has to go in my studio. I'm now using Ableton Live. MPC X has clip launch. MPC Live has clip launch. That works with Ableton Live and what I'm doing so perfectly. So now is the time for me to just... So MPC X or MPC Live, I still haven't decided what I'm gonna purchase. And one I don't really need because I'll probably be buying something over again. So I may not need the X, but we'll just see. That screen is so beautiful. That 10.1 inch full color multi-touch screen is just amazing. So this is gonna wrap it up on my talk about MPCs and what it did for me.